Hello, greetings. This is me again, continuing Zahra Jawad, continuing from where I left off and starting from where Zainab her reputation would be ruined, right? Under the commentary, Shia commentary, under verse 36 of Surah Azab. I have to show you this again and again because there's a universal declaration and against it by the Muslim countries, some of them, Muslim world, some mentioned in Wikipedia, and some for freedom of religion, but some say that no, this is, you can have freedom of religion but not apostatize against Islam, and you should respect Islam and all this, right? Whatever the reasons are given in Wikipedia, you can check apostasy in Islam, and Wikipedia will give it to you, what I'm talking about. So why am I apostatizing against Islam? The reasons I gave you in the previous video, if that is not enough, and what I showed you, then what? You don't want to perish. You don't want to believe in this religion out of fear. Because as we are told in this ayat, coming to Surah Yunus ayat, later ayats, that you will perish and all this if you don't believe there's a severe penalty, grievous or severe. And then we are told here, and had your Lord willed, those on earth would have believed, all of them entirely. Then, O Muhammad, would you compel the people in order that they become believers? So no compulsion in religion, Ayatul Kursi again, in Surah Baqarah, part of Ayatul Kursi, no compulsion, there is no compulsion in religion, and again we are told here, Rasulullah is being told not to compel the people, because your Lord willed those on earth would have believed, all of them entirely, if he had so willed. And in another ayat we're told, even if you love them, they don't want to believe, or there's another ayat, even if you love them, don't despair for them, don't grieve for them. Don't grieve for them, because they will not believe, even if they are your loved ones. Okay, so just going through, and this ayat I read is of Surah Yunus. Sorry if I forgot the number, 99. I can show you, but I'm on now Flash. I've put my videos Flash on, so I cannot show you, although I wish I had shown you this ayat, the Quran.com. You can go to Quran.com. And and it is not for a soul to believe except by permission of Allah, and He will place defilement upon those who will not use who will not understand or use reason. Ya aqilun. Okay? Say, observe what is in the heavens and the earth, but of no avail will be signs or warners to a people who do not believe. So I don't go with anyone who says God's permission, because these ayats are very tricky. They can, it's because there's another ayat somewhere in this Quran that says, in some surah, that says that these obstinate people, they don't believe. They don't want to believe. So God has given them a free will. If they don't want to believe, they don't want to believe. Nor of those, and so they don't have a reason. No, I mean, they don't have a reasoning capacity to believe or something. No, wait a minute. Here it says upon those. See, there's a defilement upon those who will not use their reason, even though they have the they have the capacity to reason, the proper way to put it, of this ayat 100 in Surah Yunus, 10th chapter of the Quran. But they will not use their reason. And when we apostates like me use our reason to show you something, what do you say? What do you say to us? Okay, so I'm going to use my reason and see, because who will not understand? On those, he will place doubt or obscurity on those who will not understand. Let's see what the Quran ayat says word by word. And he will, the wrath on those who do not use reason, aql. The word, the main word, aql, from, how do you say it, right, is used, aqilun. Wait, if you can hear this. Yaqilun. It's from aql, the root word, aql, meaning reason. Okay? So I'm not saying like some say that no, God willed this on us, and why did God will this, and that's why. No. I will take the Quran ayats on face value right now to say yes. Okay, so I'm going to use reason. Going to use reason for you. Right? Because here remember, Surah Yunus, ayat 100, 10th chapter of the Quran. It is not for a soul to believe except by permission of Allah. That's okay, because He's given us. And another ayat He says that they are stubborn. They don't use their reason. They want to they want to close their ears. They don't want to listen. They don't want to listen to the message. And He will place defilement, wrath, meaning, or the one version, the word by word is the wrath, upon those who will not use reason. Sahih International Translation. Ya'aqilun. Ya'aqilun. Say, observe what is in the heavens and the earth. Do also use your observation, but of no avail will be the signs. Like in this other ayat, we are told, we have given you the signs in yourselves and on the horizons. Or warners. So warners like prophets, true prophets, warners to a people who do not believe. Or, in every way signs have come to you, warners have come to you. These signs are also serve as warnings like death. Here, if you look at nature, perishing, finish, grass is gone, dead. So we are also told to observe right here in Surah Yunus ayat 101 now. Because you see, this is a very gigantic work that I have to show you, because why? Because many Shia, Sunni, Salafi, Wahhabi, what do schools of thought, Quran only people, what are you using? Have you used all the capacity of your mind, reason, observation to check whether this Quran also is right or wrong? And the message of Rasulullah has reached us properly and clearly, so we understand the wisdom, and in every way we understand this message. Because you see, we are told not only this, observe and what, but so fast with Zainab bin Josh. Now go to Zainab bin Josh. So I may be jumping a little bit. What I didn't say is that, that verse from the Bible. Sorry, I missed something I have to add in my previous video, that lustful, don't go lustfully to, no, don't even think in your heart, not even in your mind. This means about another woman when you are married, because adultery means when you're married. Fornication is when you're single. So that ayat I forgot to mention with this. Not only Rasulullah's marriage to Zainab, because then the Shia account is different. The Shia hadiths say that's utterly junk, what this one Umayyad, the hadith has come from the Umayyad side. about hearts turning, and Rasulullah went to a place and saw her like this. And where I wanted to go was in Surah Nisa ayat 24, for all believers, what your right hands possess. So what it says is, the Quran at the previous verse, taking the previous verse, do not marry married women, all forbidden are to you all married women except those whom your right hands possess. And these are the ones from war. Now Jesus Christ or in the Moses, you can see whether you can marry them, and how the law works of Moses in the Old Testament is given. But I just wanted to say, even in the Old Testament, if the Moses law is given, but Jesus Christ, if you are a Christian, and we say in the Quran, Isa al-Masih is mentioned, and then here in that verse says that you go back to the former scriptures. This is for the Sunnis, not the Shias. Ask, find out from those who know the book, who read the book beforehand, for the Sunni. So it becomes very difficult for me to explain. So, but how to tell you? You see, you obey Rasulullah, you obey. I'll now turning to here, this commentary, and the verse 36. We are told Zainab had to obey for her marriage to Zaid, Rasulullah, and Allah's. You cannot go against them when they have decided a matter about your life, to get married to someone. Now we are told here that she would have been, her reputation, not even her life, her reputation would have been ruined. So save your reputations. What? And this is the wisdom of God. And God wants to sanctify a marriage and you to be happy in marriage also. And then we are told that her reputation would be ruined. But then in verse 37, what we are told here is that why this law came about, that now you can marry your divorced women, your adopted sons' divorced wives, divorced women, so that we gave her to you as a wife, so we gave her to you, Rasulullah, we gave Zainab to you as a wife, so that there should be no difficulty. Quran ayat says not to save her reputation or her marriage with Zaid. Quran ayat says here, word by word I'm reading. But okay, I'll start from the middle here. But when Zaid had accomplished his want of her, we gave her to you as a wife, so that there should be no difficulty for the believers in respect of the wives of their adopted sons. What I heard here say was that this is what I heard from Quran ayat, word by word. This is the wisdom. And what is the wisdom of God in doing this, breaking the marriage? No. We are told couldn't save in the commentary. But word by word, what are we told in this ayat? 37 of Surah Azab. In the middle here. So that there should be no difficulty for the believers in respect of the wives of their adopted sons when they have accomplished their want of them. This is not divorce, is it? Or does it mean that they are now fully satisfied with his wife and now they... Okay, whatever, accomplished, you know what accomplishment is? Like you have completely saturated your want. You know what this divorce, some say later have dissolve with the necessary formality their marriage. Yusuf Ali's translation. Shakir says, now I'll have to go to Quran.com because I don't know Arabic and I'll have to look at word by word. So this also point to consider, right? Whether you have, how he uses divorce, like latter have dissolved with the necessary with them. In brackets, formality, their marriage with them. You know how it's put here? So, and this is Yusuf Ali. Shakir says, and when I looked at, like, have accomplished their want, it just gets better and better. Accomplish their want of them. What if he puts it, this is the way to put divorce? It could mean when you have saturated your want. I mean, it's open to interpretation. Accomplished your want? You know what is accomplished? Your want of them. Look at the wordings. Please, it's not me translating, saying, I said saturating your want. See, in divorce you say whether you have saturated your want with them or not. You divorce them. What is divorce? Annulling of a marriage contract or sanctity, this whatever marriage vow, annulling the marriage is divorce. You don't put it like this. So when they have accomplished the want of them, when they have accomplished the want of them, they said, and all this. Anyways, now the azan is on, so I'll just pause for a while. Hello, yes, sorry, the prayers are going to go on, but I just have to finish this. And don't think that as a Muslim, ex-Muslim, I'll be finished, perished. Okay? So, verse 37 of Surah Azab. So when ended Zayd from her necessary, we married her to you. So this it just says ended, and then does it say in brackets? Yes, it says in brackets like formalities, but necessary, even like word by word, right? Quran.com. So I wasn't reading it in this thing, so I don't know. If this is so word by word, but why do the translators here put it like this? I don't know. And this is wrong of the translators. It means that when he saturated his want. See, some put it in this way. I was like shocked reading. I didn't even come to this part of the ayat on YouTube, on my videos mentioning like this. I mean, getting to this, right? In this way, showing you. So what does Mufti Taqi Usmani say? So that they may not, we gave her into, no, so when Zaid finished his desire for her. Another says Zaid finished his want. When, oh, no, wait. Abdul Halim says, translates it, what? Longer wanted, after they no longer wanted them. No, wait a minute, when Zaid no longer wanted her. When Zaid no longer wanted her. And then even if you go to the Shia commentary, it doesn't make sense. Because we are told it was Zainab who didn't want to marry Zaid. And she was not happy in this marriage and she gave Zaid a hard time. So what went on there, I don't know. And so something like this, I was reading the translations, you know, it doesn't say when Zaid divorced her. But this one says Zaid had accomplished what he would of her. What he would of her. This is Tafhim al-Quran, Abul Ala Maududi. I don't know why they're mistranslating it. But English translation, Pictil says, when the latter have performed, when the latter have, it's like plural, both of them have performed the necessary formality from them. Okay, when the Z, it means, here it means when the latter has performed, should have been has, but it's have, has performed the necessary formality from them. Or maybe this is classic English, I don't know. The commandment of Allah must be fulfilled. Wait a minute. The necessary formality. So when Z had performed that necessary formality from her, then formality would be divorce. So in this way, this is a proper translation, I guess, word by word of the Quran, Arabica. So here again, I cannot, if this is so and this is what the Quran ayat has given word by word, then I can say not much about this part of the Quran ayat. Difficult. So then where do I go? I go back to showing you when Zaid had performed, Zaid had to divorce her. But these translations, they made me really think, what is this, Okay, so about this, again, back to that, I haven't completely finished my sentences. When I showed you Jesus Christ saying in the Gospel of Matthew, what Jesus Christ said about adultery, so what I meant was here in Surah 4 again, Surah Nisa, verse 24. And all married women except those who your right hands possess. It goes against the law of Jesus. Jesus came to say, so if you're a Christian and if you're not a Jew, if you're a Christian, this prophet will fail as a true prophet. Because what is he allowing during war? He's allowing married women to be, taken as what your right hands possess and get married to them. Right? So when their husbands are captives to Muslims, believers actually, at that time, or whenever, and or killed. So if they are killed, then that's another matter. They're widowed also, but if they are not killed and they're captives, then also you can have this, marry them. If the husbands are not killed and captive, you can have these women unless a ransom, like what Ali commentary mentions here, M.A. Ali commentary in the Shia commentary section, multilingual Quran under this ayat, verse 24 of Surah Nisa. Save those, except those like married women, save those whom your right hands own, signifies, so not slaves, like free. Masanat means well guarded or protected. They are married women, free and slave. So what are these? Then Ali commentary explains, minors and insane females. Right now we don't need minor and insane females. Ali commentary explains here further about this verse. Save those whom your right hands own. So I don't know whether this minor thing is explained in the Quran verse, who to marry, like that verse has come, right, to my attention about, inheritance in Surah Nisa. So they must be grown, married. Marriage age, they say, has to be, the girls have to be grown up or the boys have to be grown up for marriageable age. And then what the ayat says. So that ayat, I'm forgetting the verse number and the proper wordings of that ayat. But here, okay, the point here then is that save those whom your right hands own signifies such married women as shall come in your possession as prisoners of war. So Jesus Christ, remember, he's also not allowed his Christians to go to war with anyone, to settle the thing peacefully, and not to, because he said, if the one who picks up a sword dies by the sword, fights by the sword, dies by the sword. So Moses' law has been changed actually. So for Christians, when Jesus Christ says, this is what I wanted to mention, and taking the Sunni way of that ayat, that go to the books, previous ones, who read the book previously, the ones before you who have read the book, the ayat in the Quran, and to join this one, that ayat. Now I'm getting confused. So to join Jesus Christ saying, and the Sunni way of reading that ayat, taking that ayat. So Sunnis, you will, Christians can say that, and they will say, because they'll apply their law of the Bible, the gospel of Jesus Christ, and say, no, these are, now Jesus Christ, I say to you now that in your heart you have committed adultery. Even if you think lustfully about a woman, in your heart you have committed adultery. So married, adultery, again, this and that, this will fail for the Christian law, Christianity, their religion. What the Jesus Christ has said, this will not make sense anymore. And for them, this means that Prophet Muhammad is a false prophet. Right? For the Christians, if they take the Sunni way, not the Shia way. Okay. So for the Christians, it fails if they take the Sunni way, not the Shia way. If they take the Shia ayat, this means taking the Ahlul Bayt who have read the book, Imam Ali, right? The first one to be with Prophet Muhammad and all this, or Hazrat Khadija, Bibi Khadija. So this will not, but okay. So then, but even then, for the Christians, if they come to this ayat, Surah Nisa verse 24, right? Even if you don't take those books, we are told, like, take the Shia way, even then it fails. Because there Jesus Christ has said, who is a false prophet, and you cannot anymore, now I've come and it's all new. Like you can't, it would be lustful, so you can't. For them, Christians, it will fail. Even if they take I correct myself, even if they take the Shia point of view, it will fail about that verse. That verse of going through the, ask those who read this book, who have read this book. That verse. Sorry if I have made some mistakes about the verse, that verse. Which verse is it in Surah? Some verse there. In my previous video, I already mentioned. So, and lawful for you, except your right hands possess. So in war, save those whom your right hands own. Right hands own, here is written. Commentary section. Signifies such married women as shall come in your possession as prisoners of war. Such women, when not taken back on payment of ransom, please go slowly. Payment of ransom. Since the believers here win, they even get the women, they get the booty. Where does the booty come from? What will they have now, even if their tribes are alive and all this? What is the booty? Booty is not the sword they won in the battle. The army is finished. The disbelievers' army is gone. Captive. Bind them, Surah Muhammad ayat, firmly, until they, and make them submissive. So these women are at home. They're not on the battlefield with their husbands. The bounties you are getting is what you have after defeating their soldiers and army. You tell whom to give us, from the soldiers' side or from the whole country or city that you have defeated, or the place you have defeated, the village you have defeated. Who is going to pay for this? Because where all that bounty is now on the side of the winners in war, the victorious. So ask yourself this also, right? So such women, when not taken back on payment of ransom or through negotiation, I don't know about that. I'll have to think about that. Are lawful as wives, even though their previous marriage has not been formally dissolved. Not been formally dissolved. I mean, it's this. You can say everything is Zara, everything is fair in war and in love, as they say. So as the disbelievers did to us, we will do to them. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. But the Christians, don't expect the Christians to come here. So Christians have a different, the Jesus Christ changed their whole entire, this thing, although they don't say it like Jesus Christ said, I've not come to change the law of the former prophets and all, Moses or anything, the Sabbath and all, but he did. Because now he's taken the sins upon himself. And now you can only say Jesus Christ and say Jesus Christ your Savior. You can confess your sins in the name of Jesus Christ, and your sins will be gone, dissolved. Okay, so the pattern, pattern of reason, seeing it through the Christian, this will fail here for the Christians, saying that this is a false prophet, because our Jesus Christ said, even lustfully if you go towards, and war no more. You give him your right cheek. What war will you have with someone who slaps you on your one cheek? Give him the other cheek. Let's say he slaps you on your left cheek. Give him the right cheek too. So whichever way he's facing you, he's facing you and he'll slap you with his right hand. What if he slaps you with his left hand? So I know what you're going to say right now against me, that I don't know whether the left cheek is first, because his right hand he can use his right hand, okay? But these small mistakes I'll make. But please look at this. This is such satanic. I'm going to. I'm pointing out to you. I've been pointing out to you. So no war in Jesus for Christians. I mean, no war. Jesus Christ, it's like forbade them. He told them there where the Roman soldiers came to arrest him. And so according to the Christian law, it will fail. This Quran ayat, it fails to convince the Christians that this is a true prophet, because his Allah is allowing except those whom your right hands possess. Right? Okay. I hope if I need, I'll be corrected if you would like to correct me even more. Right? So this here, maybe I have not said it properly. Tu mutas, temporary marriage. Famastamta behi provides for a temporary marriage known as muta. It has been specifically made lawful by the Quran and the Holy Prophet. Therefore, this provision subsists as unrescinded, meaning not cancelled. It's not cancelled. According to the Shias, the Sunnis say this is cancelled. One day for no reason at all, and having no authority to amend a law given and practiced by the Holy Prophet, the second Caliph, Umar bin Khattab, meaning, declared from the pulpit two mut'ahs, temporary marriage and combining Hajj with Umrah. My goodness. Even that means combining Hajj with Umrah also means mut'ah. Oh my goodness. Were enforced during the time of the Holy Prophet, but now I decree both of them as unlawful, and I will punish those who practice them. Thus, for the Sunnis, finish. Mutta finish. Two muttas completely gone. And what both, I mean, I was looking at this and I really couldn't get it until now. Two muttas, temporary marriage and combining Hajj with Umrah. So in the Sunni hadiths, I think sometimes it's like two muttas mean combining Hajj with Umrah. And that's all I could see. So I was like, Shias, where's that temporary marriage thing? Anyways, where does this come from, this hadith I read about the two muttas and Umar bin Khattab cancelling it and punishing those who would practice this, making it unlawful? I decree both of them unlawful. Tafsir Kabir, Dur al-Mantar, Kashaf, Mustadrak, and others. According to Tirmidhi, even his son Ibn Umar refused to agree with his father's action because it was made lawful by Allah and His Prophet, whose pronouncements could never be revoked by anyone after him. Therefore, the Shia school of thought, Islam original, in brackets Islam original, holds both the muttas lawful. Ali ibn Abu Talib reversed the uncalled for innovation of the second caliph, and thereafter it was never again prohibited. The Maliki school of thought also holds mutta as lawful. I didn't know this, and I keep forgetting it even if I read it. So, married women, why are we doing this? See, different thoughts. beliefs and confusions, and what this Quran, especially on top generally for the Muslims and the past ladies and these ladies, did they have a choice? Could they say that we don't want to? Yes. I mean, in the commentary section it says that there's someone there, they could be saved by, taking them back on payment of ransom or through negotiation. Payment of ransom and through but slave girls were Islam tried to abolish this slavery. And we are told, right, under commentaries and hadiths, through hadiths, sources from Sunni Shia, both agree Islam tried to abolish slavery, and now Islam also through Umar, we are told here by the Shia, tried to abolish this, but the Maliki school, Muta, also holds it lawful. Also holds it lawful. Do you not think this is a grave thing, or do you think this is just a minor thing which you can overlook? Maybe not kill each other on this, these disagreements, please. Okay? But what you can do is kill the apostates when they see grave reasoning, this thing, understanding, lack of sense making, sensibility, sense and what do you call that? Lack of reasoning. When it fails, the Quran ayats fail in that. And also properly, so there are so many properly conveying the message clearly. One says this, another says this. We say, no, our Imam from the progeny of Rasulullah, even the progeny of Rasulullah, what if this, for 1 second think, what if this is a false prophet? Who are you taking it from? The progeny? Fatima Zahra, only one survival daughter of Prophet. And all this favoritism, loving them, and for them Allah has created in Hadith Qissa, we are told, and all this. And all the fadak booty going to her, and then we are given reasons why she had to hold, because so that Imam Ali and her would, equally distribute this fadak from the proceeds of fadak to the right people, needy, wayfarer, this, that. But a whole lot of it would go to Hassan and Hussein. And then to the needy and to the wayfarer. Okay, so this, I don't know how to show you more of the lapse of reason. So I've shown you that Christians, this might deter Christians from taking him as a true prophet, this verse. Also forbidden to you are married women except those whom your right hands possess. Verse 24 of Surah Nisa. Right? Then we go to, then I appeal to your reasoning, because as we are told in Surah Yunus, was it? Again, oh goodness. No soul can believe, he will, let me just, and he will place doubt or obscurity on those who will not understand, one translation, or not use their reason. Upon those who will not use reason, Sahih International Translation of ayat, again I have to go up 100 of Surah Yunus. Okay? Now see how reason fails here. Where my reason failed, I can show you. So that's what I'm doing. taking Surah Azab ayats and all, Surah Nur ayat. Okay, maybe Surah Nur ayat they can, Shias can get away with it by quoting other general ayats and this and that. Okay, verse 101. Say, observe what is in the heavens. Also observation, what Jiddu Krishnamurti was saying. I found out later, much later. So, say, observe what is in the heavens and the earth, the skies and the earth. But of no avail will be the signs or warners to a people who do not believe, meaning a people who do not want to believe. Right? So observe the signs. How shall we go? How can I explain to you how this? He may have used what? Anyways, Surah again on Surah Yunus, Ayat 102. Continuing reading. So from 101 to 102 now. So do they want except for like what occurred in the days of those? So a very bad thing will happen, we are told here in this ayat. Then wait, indeed I am with you among those who wait. Okay, then wait, have patience. And 103, then we will save our messengers and those who have believed. Thus it is an obligation upon us that we save the believers. 103. 104. Say, O Muhammad, O people, if you are in doubt as to my religion, then I do not worship those which you worship besides Allah. But I worship Allah who causes your death, and I have been commanded to be of the believers. Okay, this is the end, I think. No more loading. Continue. Oh, no. I think I have to continue. So I'll just... But here, before this, so what was the punishment? That you will perish, you will go astray, that you will have the wrath of Allah on you. Painful. 97, sorry. It's, even if every sign should come to them until they see the painful punishment. Those, so reading above now, 96, above 97, ayat 96, those against whom the word of thy Lord hath been verified would not believe. Means it is so prominent, it is verified. A truth that is verified, shown in every way, but still they don't believe. All signs, all cards are open, all proofs are exhausted, right? But still they don't believe. And what does 95 say, ayat? Nor be of those who reject the signs of Allah, or thou shalt be of those who perish. Be among the losers. Sahih International. What does the Quran word? Losers. Khasirin. Losers. Finished. Alas. You are losers. Okay, now can I show you at least? So be in no wise of those who doubt, those in doubt. Ayat, just reading this part of 95 now. Yes? So we are told that the scripture, reading the scripture before you, meaning for Shias it's different, for Sunnis it's different. For Sunnis it's the Bible and the former scriptures of Moses and Jesus. For the Shias it's Imam Ali and Bibi Fatima Zahra. Huh? So thus the truth has certainly come to you, meaning Imam Ali, or the miracles, right? Every way, everything. The truth has certainly come to you. It is a certainty from your Lord. So never be among the doubters. So we thought as a teacher, look, I showed you in every way I showed you. I've exhausted every proof, everything. And you yourself can see. Go, observe. Observe. And what? Observe in the heavens and the earth. If I've lied to you. Oh, no, I haven't lied, but observe. And see, the truth has certainly come. I've exhausted everything. The signs of Allah are there. So then, and also in Surah Yunus, we are told, Allah is saying, and had your Lord willed, those on earth would have believed. All of them, entirely. Then, O Muhammad, would you compel the people in order that they become believers? No. Right? Like it's a question put forward. Or even an exclamation mark here. In some, an exclamation mark here. A question. Like, no, you would not. How can you? So we also thinking, no, he cannot compel us. Free will is given. Although Allah says, with my permission, whoever wants to go astray goes astray, but under my permission. See, ayat number 100. And 'tis not for a soul to believe except by the permission of Allah. And He will place defilement upon those who will not use reason. So when your reasoning capacity is also exhausted, when all proof is exhausted, you must use reason, you must observe. What happens now? What's the problem with this apostate? Me. Maybe we should find a wise man. Or no, the wisdom has to be inside of you. You see, signs of Allah, we are told in the Quran ayat, He sent on the horizons in yourselves. So that ayat too, right? It has to be in yourself. So when God is doing something, what reason has He given here? For the Zainab and Josh and the Zed's marriage failure. For the good of all believers. So we gave her to you as a wife, so that there should be no difficulty for the believers in respect of the wives of their adopted sons. Please, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This is why Zainab suffered, and we are told here. The Shias have written this in the commentary section. I just read the ayat part 37 of Surah Azad. For this whole thing to fail, God made it easy. Why this whole? It's His wisdom, and it's Rasulullah's wisdom. His wisdom and Rasulullah's both. Like Rasulullah's wisdom comes from Allah's wisdom. So where is the lapse? Can you see it? Where the lapse is? This wisdom. That you see Allah's wisdom, that Allah, in this Allah, here. What great wisdom, right? Allah's wisdom when a believer is hurt. On one hand, you take two couples. You take this one couple, You take one couple. First you force them into marriage. Forced marriage. Against the will. Step by step we're going, step by step. So now I'm on the commentary section. So you take it step by step, right? Allah's wisdom. We must not put our own wisdom in competition with Allah's wisdom. We must accept it loyally, which they did, and do the best we can to carry it out. Carry what out? This wisdom out, Allah's wisdom, or the marriage out? What Allah has asked us to obey. So these two people, one couple, were shaheed. These were Allah's wisdom. This was Allah's wisdom. I still cannot get it. And do you see everything? I'm trying to give you Shias also a great chance to go again back to square one. Going to square one. Make it easy for the believers to marry their adopted sons, divorcees. And now he's not even, why I'm going further, like he's a friend now. Take him as your close associate. Wali. Take him as a close friend. He's alive. It's not like he's died. Adopted son changes to friend, close friend. For make it better for the Muslims. And Zainab becomes Ummul Mu'mineen. But that's not what is said here. It is said we made it easier for the Muslims, Mu'mineen, for the believers. I really fail to understand the wisdom and logic of having one couple whose marriage you ruin because what were we told? So they don't become losers. They don't become losers. They don't perish. They don't perish. Zainab becomes Ummul Mu'mineen. Let's take it the Shia's way, or the Muslim way, right? And the Quran way. So, how do we see it? What is our reasoning? What is the Quran reasoning in all this? A Muslim Mu'mineen. We made it better. Now easier. You can marry because now if Muslims marry their adopted sons divorcees, will they become Ummul Mu'mineen? No. Only Zainab bin Josh became Ummul Mu'mineen, because when do you become an Ummul Mu'mineen? When you marry Prophet Muhammad. So that status position is no more for you. For the divorcees of your adopted sons or your wives. When you marry them, you can't make them Ummul Mu'mineen. It's only reserved for the Prophet Muhammad's wives. For Prophet Muhammad's wife. Now what happens? Now for the believers, believing women, you can't get that status. Maybe if you recite a dua and you get the position of Prophet Muhammad, Shia, dua or something like that, or Prophet Muhammad himself will come and afterwards come and greet you and make you sit on his horse or camel and something like that. Will come and greet you on the day of judgment. We are not told that, but don't know. What is the wisdom? But here we are told what the wisdom is in this ayat. He gave her to you as a wife so that there should be no difficulty for the believers in respect of the wives of their adopted sons when they have accomplished their want of them. Twice, but when Zaid had accomplished his want of her, oh my God, what is this? The translation makes my heart, this is the wisdom of God. Allah's command must be fulfilled. Please, there's no other wisdom. Allah exhausts everything, tells you. But here at least, you are told. This is the wisdom. Can't you see it? Make it easier. So no difficulty means making it easier to the believers in the matter of marriage with the wives of their adopted sons, when the latter have dissolved with the necessary formality their marriage with them, and Allah's command must be fulfilled. Please, can you see? Can you hear me? Can you feel, think, reason, apply reason? There is no harm in the Prophet doing that which Allah has ordained for him. Such has been the course of Allah with respect to those who have gone before. And the command of Allah is a decree that is made absolute. Look, what Ali commentary say? Under ayat 60. See, this 38 ayat I'm reading now. I'm on ayat 38 of Surah Azab. There is no harm in the Prophet doing that which Allah has ordained for him. What did it remind you of ayat to ayat? So, what? There can be no difficulty to the Prophet in what Allah has indicated to him as a duty. It was the practice approved of Allah among those of old that have passed away, and the command of Allah is a decree determined. Our Imams have explained what is a decree and how Allah determines it in Surah Kafi. In Kafi al-Kulaini, the book, the Shia book, authentic, accepted unanimously by all Shias. Those who deliver the messages of Allah and fear Him and do not fear anyone but Allah, and Allah is sufficient to take account. Muhammad is not the father of any of your men. Okay, then we go to here, right? So decree, then why? It is, so Rasulullah has to perform the duty here, decreed by Allah. Where's that ayat? 38? I read? I went down actually searching for ayat 60, 61, 62. So we go to ayat 38 again. There is no harm in the Prophet doing that which Allah has ordained for him. Such has been the course of Allah with respect to those who have gone before. And the command of Allah is a decree that is made absolute. So, why did Prophet Muhammad never practice this? This way of Allah. See how we are told here. Such has been the course of Allah with the respect to those who have gone before. Again, do you feel deja vu, deja vu, deja vu? Huh? Ayat 62 and Ayat 38. What? He didn't practice this? Cursed wherever they are found. Ayat 61. Cursed wherever they are found. They shall be seized and murdered. A horrible murdering. Shocked translation. What does M.A. Ali commentary say? As said in the commentary of Barat 47 to 50, even in 9 Hijrah, a large number of hypocrites were present among the believers and were actively plotting to undermine the divine mission of the Holy Prophet. They weren't killing him, but they were actively involved in plotting and undermining the divine mission of the Holy Prophet. Also see commentary of Barat 41 and 42, meaning verses. But history written by their associates and followers do not mention them and their activities at all after the departure of the Holy Prophet from this world. Does history mention Zainab bin Josh's writing about this verse? Zaid's writing? Or Safiya bint, where history mentions Safiya bint Uway writing something, saying something against this, only one has come from Ibn Ishaq about the Jews of Bani Qurayza. We say no, we can't accept it. Chain of narration weak, only one person. And it hasn't even come from Imam Ali, the progeny of Prophet Muhammad. Side by side it should be with the hypocrites a book and this book. Right? So we can read that one and we can read this. Everything that has come, either it has come from the Umayyad, Shia say no, this is from the enemy side, hypocrites side. We can't accept it. It doesn't make sense to the Shias. Now how do I explain to the Shias? Side by side, okay, maybe from the Sunni sources then I must take to show the Shias some defects in this Quran. But what I studied is from the Quran ayat, because I cannot convince the Shias just by citing Umayyad sources. So that's why I did this from the Quran ayats. Where do we go wrong now? See, which history? Okay, Shias will say Umayyad. Okay, but history written by their associates and followers do not mention them and their activities at all after the departure of the Holy Prophet, from this world. In fact, it was these hypocrites who annoyed, persecuted, and killed the Ahlul Bayt, not even those believers during the time of Prophet Muhammad. But they persecuted, they kept annoying, the way it is written here, the Ahlul Bayt of the Holy Prophet till the disappearance of the last Imam Al-Qaim, and continued the persecution of their followers in all ages. The hypocrites, the disbelievers, and the enemies of the truth have been seized and destroyed by Allah in the times of earlier prophets. And Allah undertakes, the verse 61 and 62, that which people among the Ummah of the Holy Prophet will also meet the same fate. History does not furnish a single example of any action taken by the Holy Prophet against the hypocrites in the sense mentioned here. History does not. What if I show you? What if I show you Ibn Ishaq? What he wrote about Bani Qurayza in detail. What will the Shia say? You see? No. You cannot say that history has not furnished a single example of the Holy Prophet practicing this ayat. What? And what ayat? You know, this is an ayat. And this is the way of Allah, it says here. Such has been the course of Allah with respect to those who have gone before. And you shall not find any change in the course of Allah. 62, ayat I read. 61, cursed wherever they are found. They shall be seized. They shall be caught and murdered. A horrible murdering. What does the Shia say here? What do the Shia say with their imams? 12 imams we have, one disappears. But he will come and justice for justice. What do the Shia say? M.A. Ali commentary. Where is it? Oh God, I have to get, my eyesight is getting weak. Stronger glasses, just wearing them. Oh God, it has something on it. Here, what do the Shia say? I just didn't get the thing off from the glass. Prophet will meet the same. History does not furnish a single example of any action taken by the Holy, not a single example of any action taken by the Holy Prophet against the hypocrites in the sense mentioned here. You realize that this verse was against the hypocrites, disbelievers, and those in whose hearts is a disease. And then it says, seize them and murder them with a horrible murdering. You realize this is the way of Allah, mentioned in this verse, 62. Such has been the course of Allah with respect to those who have gone before, and you shall not find any change in the course of Allah. You realize this is the course of Allah. But you are saying that history does not furnish a single example of any action, meaning you want to wipe away that Ibn Ishaq history, or what? You want to say it doesn't exist? Now we have internet and everything. Okay, just a minute. I'm trying to clean my glasses. There's a stain here, so that's stubborn. Okay, and then you're telling me. Okay, so shall I take you now? Open new tab. History does not record. And this is the way of Allah. We're not saying this was the way of the hypocrites to seize the Muslims and Mu'mins, or even Rasulullah, Prophet Muhammad. Bani Qurayza. You know who is Ibn Ishaq? A Sunni historian, believer, Muslim historian, right? Battle of the Trench. History in pre-Islamic. Arrival, Battle of the Trench, punishment of the Bani Qurayza, other Jewish tribes. Most Jewish tribes that remained loyal towards the Prophet always held a friendly status and were called allies of the Muslims. Taking the tribe of Banu al-Harith. Banu Auf, constitution of Medina. But the rabbi from Banu Nadir fought against Muslims at the Battle of Uhud and bequeathed his entire wealth to Muhammad in the case of his death. He was subsequently called the best of the Jews by Muhammad. Punishment of Bani Qurayza. Here we go. The circumstances, judgment to Prophet, a move what classifies as unconditional. Okay, the non-Muslim historians have read this, or what is this? The circumstances of the Bani Qurayza's demise have been related by Muslim historians. According to Watt, Peters, and Stillman, the Qurayza surrendered to Prophet Muhammad's judgment. Citations given: a move Watt classifies as unconditional judgment. Or surrendered to Prophet Muhammad's judgment. A move what classifies as unconditional. Okay, I've opened to Wikipedia, Bani Qurayza. Citation given 42. The Aus who wanted to honor what? Muhammad, prophet and statesman. Page 170 to 176. Citation given. The Aus who wanted to honor the old alliance with the Qurayza asked Muhammad to treat the Qurayza leniently, as he had previously treated the Qaynuqa for the sake of Ibn Ubay, not for the sake of Allah or anything. Okay. Arab custom required support of an ally independent of the ally's conduct to a third party. Muhammad then suggested to bring the case before an arbitrator chosen from the Aus, to which both the Aus and the Qurayza agreed to. Muhammad then appointed Sa'd ibn Mu'adh to decide the fate of the Jewish tribe. Citation given. According to Hashmi Buchanan and more, the tribe agreed to surrender on the condition of a Muslim arbitrator of their choosing. According to Khaduri, also cited by Abu Nemar, both parties agreed to submit their dispute to a person chosen by them. Citation given. In accordance with the Arabian tradition of arbitration, citation given. Okay, and now I want, wherever I need to read citation given, I'll give. The numbers are given, and then you press on the number. Moore holds that the Qurayza surrendered on the condition that their fate was decided by their allies, the Bani Aus. In all accounts, the appointed arbitrator was Sa'd ibn Mu'adh. Okay, I'll just skip this. When Sa'd arrived, his fellow Aus pleaded for leniency towards the Qurayza and on his request pledged that they would abide by his decision. He then decreed that the men should be killed. The property divided and the women and children taken as captives. Muhammad approved of the ruling, calling it similar to God's judgment. The Shias don't want to read this. And this is not from the Shias. When will it come that Ibn Ishaq? Okay, we'll see. Right? Now, not a single example furnished that Muhammad practiced this, Holy Prophet practiced this by the Shias, we are told. But here, Muhammad approved of the ruling, called it similar to God's judgment. Utter rubbish, Shias will say. Chiragh Ali argued that this statement may have referred to king or ruler rather than God. Narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. Some people, i.e. the Jews of Bani bin Qurayza, agreed to accept the verdict of Sa'd ibn Mu'adh. So Prophet sent for him, i.e. Sa'd bin Mu'adh. He came riding a donkey, and when he approached the mosque, the Prophet said, "Get up for the best amongst you," or said, "Get up for your chief." Then the Prophet said, "O Sa'd, these people have agreed to accept your verdict." Sa'd said, "I judge that their warriors should be killed, and their children and women should be taken as captives." Why? No, I mean, why? You know why the Shia commentary said this? Not a single history, because it's not from their history, but this is from the Umayyad history sources. So they don't even take this as a valid history. But they could have said that history has come down and it has been narrated by so and so, but they didn't. Because sometimes they do put from Sahih al-Bukhari or this. The Prophet said, "You have given a judgment similar to Allah's judgment." Utter rubbish. Or the king's judgment. This is what the Shias will say. So my Shias statement I'm just using, adding to this while I'm reading Wikipedia on Bani Qurayza. Citation given, QuranX.com, the most complete Quran, Hadith, Tafsir collection available. QuranX.com retrieved. Okay, so things are given there. I'm not reading more about in the citation. Sahih al-Bukhari also mentions the fate of the Bani Qurayza carried out in accordance with Sa'd's judgment. Why wouldn't the Shias read this and consider this as some history given, at least, whether false or true, right? Why didn't they put this in? Narrated Abdullah ibn Umar. Banu Nadir and Banu Qurayza fought against the Prophet, violating their peace treaty. So the Prophet exiled Bani an-Nadir, and allowed Bani Qurayza to remain at their places in Medina, taking nothing from them till they fought against the Prophet again. He then killed their men and distributed their women, children, and property among the Muslims. Distributed their women, children, and property among the Muslims. And look at, okay, so I don't know what the Sunnis say about this, anyways. But some of them came to the Prophet and he granted them safety. And they embraced Islam. So remember Surah Tawbah ayat. He exiled all the Jews from Medina. All the Jews from Medina he exiled. They were the Jews of Bani Qaynuqa, the tribe of Abdullah bin Salam, and the Jews of Bani Haritha, and all the other Jews of Medina. Citation given. Quran X again this. But where does it say? Sahih al-Bukhari also mentions the fate of the Bani Qurayza. So this, and several accounts note Muhammad's companions as executioners. Ali and Zubair ibn al-Awam. Why is it mentioned in Sahih Bukhari or Sahih Muslim or both that Abu Bakr said when he saw Ali coming, he said, "Look, this killer is coming, he who kills, and this qatil is coming, he kills." Several accounts note, but that Shias have not seen this because this total, utter nonsensical falsehood. No history has ever been furnished a single example of Prophet Muhammad doing this. What is said in Surah Azab, Quran, verse Quran Surah Azab verse 62. No, sorry, 61. Even if it was the way of Allah. So 60, verse 62. My thing is leaving me energy. Huh? Particular as executioners. Ali and Zubair ibn al-Awam in particular, and that each clan of the Aus was also charged with killing a group of Qurayza men. Like they were both started to fight against each other. 3 boys of the clan of Hadal, who had been with Qurayza in the stronghold, slipped out before the surrender and converted to Islam, of course. The son of one of them, Muhammad ibn Ka'b al-Qurayzi, gained distinction as a scholar, and 1 or 2 other men also escaped. The spoils of battle, including the enslaved women and children of the tribe, were divided up among the Islamic warriors. Tell me that the Shia religious scholars from 1400 years don't want to hear this. But don't tell me that history has not furnished. Tell me that the authentic history has not furnished, according to the Shias, right? A single example of Prophet Muhammad practicing this way of Allah with the hypocrites. Right? So there, isn't it wrong for the Shia commentator to say this under the commentary of in the commentary under this verse, that no single example has been furnished in history. Rasulullah practicing the way of Allah with those gone before. This is the practice of Allah with against the hypocrites. Okay. And hitherto depended on the help of Muslims native to Medina. Wait, the spoils of battle, including the enslaved women and children of the tribe, were divided up among the Islamic warriors. They didn't have a choice. We are not told whether they had a choice or not to choose. They were divided. And Shias would not want to hear this. So don't blame the Sunnis that had participated in the siege and among the emigres from Makkah, who had hitherto depended on the help of the Muslims native to Medina. Now, what's this sound I heard? Sorry, excuse me. I'm going on. Shia Jinn. Prophet Muhammad collected 1/5 of the booty, which was then redistributed to the Muslims in need, as was customary. Prophet Muhammad married one of the women, Rehana bint Zaid. Many of the male descendants of Qurayza lived. Some of them embraced Islam, which is proof that the Prophet did not commit genocide, but rather he only approved the execution of their combatants as an act of self-defense. This fact is confirmed by Dr. Marcos Scholar. The Islamic tradition knows a number of descendants from the Qurayza by name, most famous among them being the traditionist Muhammad bin Ka'b al-Qurayzi, who was born a Muslim and died in Medina in 120, 73-8 or some years before. Others include his father Ka'b ibn Asad ibn Sulaim and his brother Ishaq, as well as Atiyah al-Qurayzi, al-Zubair ibn Abdul Rahman ibn al-Zabir, Ali ibn Rifa, and the progeny of Abu Malik al-Qurayzi. This suggests that the several male persons of the Qurayza did survive the conflict in Medina, probably because of their young age at the time. Yes, because he didn't kill the children. male descendants of Qurayza lived. Okay, he didn't commit a genocide against the children and the women. Okay, analysis. No, we'll go to where it says this whole thing, it's very long. Doubts about, wait a minute, the Jewish tribes. Okay, now I've come here to Wikipedia on the side of, where is this? The Battle of the Trench, sorry. Khaybar persuaded them that Muhammad was sure to be overwhelmed. Ibn Ishaq writes, they entered into negotiations with the invading army. According to what? Okay, Ibn Ishaq writes that during the siege, the Qurayza readmitted, or Huway ibn Akhtab, the chief of the Banu Nadir, who Muhammad had exiled and who had instigated the alliance of his tribe with the besieging Quraysh and Ghattafan tribes. Where did I read about where rumors of one-sided renunciation and planned decisive battle with Muhammad? Qurayza indeed demanded hostages. And it goes on. Siege and surrender. Or maybe this one. According to Ibn Ishaq, he had been asked to do so by the angel Gabriel. Okay, so it's all, where does it say that only Ibn Ishaq writes about this? And then the later. So here we are told, after the, okay, let me just read from the start. After the Makkans' withdrawal, Muhammad then led his force against the Banu Qurayza. The Makkans withdrew. And Muhammad then led his forces against the Banu Qurayza neighborhood. According to Ibn Ishaq, he had been asked to do so by the angel Gabriel. The Banu Qurayza retreated into their stronghold and endured the siege for 25 days. As their morale waned, Ka'b ibn Asad suggested 3 alternative ways out of their predicament: embrace Islam, kill their own children and women, then rush out for a charge, or to either win or die, or make a surprise attack on the Sabbath. The Banu Qurayza accepted none of these alternatives. Instead, they asked to confer with Abu Lubaba, one of their allies from the Aus. According to Ibn Ishaq, Abu Lubaba felt pity for the women and children of the tribe who were crying, and when asked whether the Qurayza should surrender to Muhammad, advised them to do so. However, he also made a sign with his hand toward his throat, indicating that their fate at the hands of the Prophet would be slaughter. Citations given. The next morning, the Banu Qurayza surrendered. They surrendered. And the Muslims seized their stronghold and their stores. Citation given. The men Ibn Ishaq numbers between 400 and 900 were bound and placed under the custody of one Muhammad ibn Maslama, who had killed Ka'b ibn al-Ashraf, while the women and children, numbering about 1,000, were placed under Abdullah ibn Salam, a former rabbi who had converted to Islam. 400 to 900 men killed. What was it? Seized their stronghold and their stores. The men, Ibn Ishaq numbers between 400 and 900, were bound and placed under the custody. Oh, they were captives. They were not killed. No genocide happened. Huh? Who had killed Ka'b ibn al-Ashraf, while the women and children numbering about 1,000. No, this is not genocide. So, M.A. Ali is right. Made a sign with his hand toward his throat, indicating that their fate at the hands of the Prophet would be slaughter. The next morning, seized. The next morning, the Banu Qurayza surrendered, and the Muslims seized their stronghold and their stores. The men Ibn Ishaq numbers between 400 and 900, were not killed, were bound and placed under the custody of one Muhammad ibn Maslama. Massacre of the Bani Qurayza. So this 400 and 900, the citation here, 28, Kister, the massacre of the Bani Qurayza. Okay, let's read further. So punishment of the Bani Qurayza. No, it is massacre. 400. They were seized, and then it says the massacre of. The citation gives here Gulam, Guillalaume, page 461 to 464. Another citation, 49. So here it does not say massacre, but the citation, one citation says what? Muhammad, Prophet. No, wait. No, sorry, here. Sorry, there was a mistake citation. Kister, the massacre of the Bani Qurayza, page 93, F. Full stop. Massacre of the Bani Qurayza. So first they were seized and then massacred. Not a single citation. Not a single history of this. Wikipedia, thank you very much. This is from Wikipedia. And now I go back to that. Here. Surah Azab. I have to open multilingual. Where did I? So, where was it? Surah. Just looking for it. Hello. Back. Multilingual Quran. Under verse 60. M.A. Ali commentary says that this way of Allah against the hypocrites, Prophet Muhammad did not furnish. History does not furnish a single example of any action taken by the Holy Prophet against the hypocrites in the sense mentioned here. As Allah's promise has to be fulfilled, Ali, as prophesied by the Holy Prophet, performed this duty in the Battle of Siffin, Jamal, and Naharawan. And the living Imam al-Qaim will complete it when he is sent again in this world by Allah. See commentary of Barat, verses 32 and 33. What? Oh my goodness. The battle of Siffin was against, I think, Muawiyah. A promise has to be fulfilled. So this is the way of Allah. Cursed wherever they are found, they shall be seized and murdered a horrible murdering. Verse 62, such has been the course of Allah with respect to those who have gone before, and you shall not find any change in the course of Allah. So, critically examining this, what the Shias have written here, history does not furnish a single example of any action taken by the Holy Prophet against the hypocrites in the sense mentioned here. And meaning that Imam Ali fulfilled this, as Allah's promise has to be fulfilled, you see. Ali, as prophesied by the Holy Prophet, performed this duty in the battle of Siffin, Jamal, and Naharawan. And then now the Qaim will comment. Oh my God. So, if you think this is good, this is right, and this is because it says it's the way of Allah. If the hypocrites and those in whose heart is a disease, and the agitators in the city do not desist, we shall. Okay, have all reasons been I'm not going to complete this verse 60 of Surah Azab. You think this is right? Now, I say to you, I don't see it from the Shia way, nor this ayats, nor from that this is right to do this thing to the hypocrites. Who made the hypocrites? Who made? I blame the Allah and Prophet Muhammad. No, because Allah is not the true Allah. Prophet Muhammad must be having these revelations from the devil himself to do this kind of a thing. So, and those who speak evil things of the believing men and the believing women without their having earned it. Okay, they are, these verses of Surah Azab. 57. Surely as for those who speak evil things of Allah and His Messenger, Allah has cursed them in this world and the hereafter, and He has prepared for them a chastisement bringing disgrace. Those who annoy Allah and those as who speak evil. Do you see that ayat, who speak evil, say evil things? Say peace to them, pass by with dignity, and say. Which translation is right? Sorry, I don't know the Arabic properly. I'll then again have to. I'm reading from multilingual Quran. So whoever recites curtailed salawat as mentioned in the commentary of verse 56 by omitting Ali Muhammad causes verse 56 by omitting Ali Muhammad causes a continuous annoyance to Allah and His Prophet, therefore condemns himself to the humiliating punishment promised in this verse. Aka Mehdi Puya says, commentary of verse 57 Surah Azab by Aka Mehdi Puya, because it's in blue and it also says Aka Mehdi Puya says. Verse 57, those who annoy Allah and His Messenger, or which, Shakir, 57 verse. Surely as for those who speak evil things of Allah and His Messenger, Allah has cursed them in this world and the hereafter, and He has prepared for them a chastisement bringing disgrace. Okay, let's read the whole. I'll read the Ali commentary first, which is given here first. I just skipped to Aka Mehdi Puya says. So refer to the commentary of Nisa 115, Anfal 13, and Barat 61 for the accursed position of those who annoyed the Holy Prophet particularly refer to the commentary of Baqarah 2 to 5 on page 51 to know that whosoever annoyed the daughter of the Holy Prophet Fatima Zahra had annoyed the Holy Prophet, and he who annoyed the Holy Prophet had annoyed Allah, and he is a disbeliever, for whom Allah has prepared a humiliating punishment. Akameti Puya says, whosoever recites curtailed salawat, as mentioned in the commentary of verse 56, by omitting Muhammad. Oh, sorry. Because but not in capital letters, but Ali Muhammad. Just Ali with the, not, I'm seeing what it says. Oh, it means Ali Muhammad, the progeny of Muhammad, not Ali. By omitting, thank God I saw this, by omitting Ali Muhammad, the progeny of Muhammad, causes a continuous annoyance to Allah and His Prophet, therefore condemns himself to the humiliating punishment promised in this verse. And those who speak evil things of the believing men and the believing women without their having earned it, they are guilty indeed of a false accusation and a manifest sin. Verse 58. When annoying the believers has been condemned by Allah as a calumny and a manifest sin, which will be the fate of those who annoyed, persecuted, and killed the Ahlul Bayt of the Holy Prophet. Those unique excellences have been made known by Allah and His Prophet. See commentary of verse 33 and 56 of the Surah Baqarah, 124 of Ali Imran, sorry. But it says Ali here. Anyways, if they had put ALE, it would have been better. Thank you. 61, Maida, 67, and many other verses. And those who annoy, there's a different translation by Shakir. And those who speak evil things of the believing men and the believing women without their having earned it, they are guilty indeed of a false accusation manifested. O Prophet, say to your wives, if the hypocrites, okay. So do you remember that verse in my previous video I mentioned of the when they speak evil, when you pass by, say peace, when you pass by any indecency. So Surah Furqan verses 63 to, okay, there's a verse 63 too, and the Surah Qasas also, flagrant, if any of you, no, this wives of the Prophet, no. So again I found Surah Furqan very easily. So 63 verse also, not only 70 it goes to, not that 70, where's the 70, just making sure that I'm saying the right thing. So, okay, 63 verse says, and the servants of the Most Merciful are those who walk upon the earth easily, and when the ignorant address them harshly in brackets, they say words of peace. Okay? And then, and those who spend part of the night with their Lord prostrating and standing in prayer. 65 words. Our Lord, avert from us the punishment of hell. It's a punishment, indeed it is evil as a settlement, and as those who spend not excess sparingly, justify moderate. 68. And those who do not invoke with Allah another deity or kill the soul which Allah has forbidden to be killed except by right, and do not commit unlawful sexual intercourse. and whoever should do that will meet a penalty. Multiplied for him is the punishment on the day of resurrection, and he will abide there and humiliated, except for those who repent, believe, and do righteous work. For them Allah will replace their evil deeds with good, and ever is Allah forgiving, the merciful. 71 does righteous. Just getting to 73, it was another. And they are those who do not testify to falsehood. And when they pass near ill speech, they pass by with dignity. But, you see, apparently yes. But what are we told in Surah Azab? Those who speak ill or all this. 73. And those who, when reminded of the verses of the Lord, do not fall upon them deaf and blind. And those who say, our Lord, grant us from among our wives. We were chamber for what they patiently endured, and they will be received therein with greetings and words of peace. Abiding eternally therein, good is the settlement. The Lord care for you, if not for your supplication, to be eternal. For you disbelievers have denied. Okay, so it's not 73, as I'm forgetting. It's 72 of Surah Furqan. And they are those who do not testify to falsehood. And when they pass near ill speech, they pass by with dignity. And those who do not bear witness to the falsehood. And when they futility. And if they pass by futility, they pass by it with honorable avoidance. So I don't know really what this is, unless he repents. And so here we are told, and when who repents and does right. Oops, I'm here. 72. And they are those who do not testify to falsehood. And when they pass near ill speech, they pass by with dignity. So they do not falsely accuse anyone. And those who do not bear witness to the falsehood. So this could mean just not sexual intercourse or anything, but any false things, God knows, falsehood. Now how do I search for this other Surah Qasas ayat? And they say peace be with you. So in other words we are told this. So maybe remembering my Shia side, we were told that this, but if the annoyance increases, I don't know to what, and falsely accusing believers and annoying them unstoppably, right? Then somewhere God has to draw the line and say, now there's a curse on, stop it. So they needed to be stopped, and that's why. But okay, I'm in the wrong now. I have to get back to the proper verses where I can. These verses I'm not very sure of how the Shia Rasulullah Imams of Rasul Ahlul Bayt explain these ayats and all this. I haven't read Surah. Oops, again, the book, authentic books explaining these verses by the Imams, right? So I cannot speak much on these because these are very dangerous for me to explain. So what I'll do is I will again go back to the verses that I'm very sure of, that they don't have the logical proper reasoning. doesn't fall too well with me, and my logic and the wisdom. I don't see the proper this wisdom, such a great wisdom of Allah, the great Allah and His great wisdom, and all this, even though mentioned in the Quran ayat, verse 37. So we were told to follow reason also, and observe also, and not to miss the signs of Allah. Be very vigilant and very conscious, and all this, right? And reasonable, starting with reason and things like that. So these verses that I've mentioned before, these other verses, they fail. And the rest I've explained. If this is not convincing, then I don't know. I can't give my own, not right now. I'll reserve my opinions and I'll continue later. It's been around 2 hours, so 1:55. 1 hour 55, and it's going to be 56 minutes. I'll just upload this video and then continue later. Thank you so much.